one of the big storylines, Robbie, was people were saying that this was the Americanization, or at least that
Mm.
was the attempt of the
Yeah,
game in
yeah,
England and Europe, because you had American owners of some of these big clubs that were a big part of creating the
yeah,
Super League.
yeah.
Do you think that we'll ever see another American owner be able to come in, take control of one of these big clubs again in England, or is there going to be a lot of reticence?
It's a really interesting point, and the Americanism is, I thought, not totally true because these things about a European breakaway have been going on it for 15 or 20 years. There's always been a thought that at some point those big clubs playing on a regular basis should be what happens. Now, that is generally at the moment the Champions League, and there is no doubt what's happened in the game and these six clubs trying to pull away is wakened everybody up to saying we need to look at the structure of football. We need to look that we can get, the big clubs should be able to play at times and maybe earn a little bit more money because they are the big clubs. They're the driver. But they also need the little clubs as well. They need the Premier League, and they should be part of that. I think what will change, and you're right, is maybe I think there'll be rules and regulations in terms of ownership of football clubs. I don't think we'll ever get back to this stage where one single owner will have the ability to take a club into a league or into another continent or another region that's not beneficial, that's not that anybody else within that league cannot have a say over. They do it in Germany. It's a 50+1 there, where I think the fans have some ownership in a club where the fans have a say. I wouldn't be surprised if some form of that is replicated in England because the fans have spoken on this and they certainly deserve a say.
So Real Madrid's president, Florentino Perez, has
Yeah.
come out and said the Super League is on standby, which is what happens when everyone
Yeah.
drops out of it. You got to put it on standby.
Standby,
But
yeah.
he's still, Robbie, blasted the current Champions League system as, he said,
Yeah.
his words, obsolete, said there's
Yeah.
waning support from young people. Things need to change. So
Yeah.
this is not going to happen in its
No.
form. Do you think
No.
there's still a possibility that something maybe like this with other considerations, is there still change possible in European football?
Yes, and there should be. I don't particularly agree with all that he said, but I do feel that the structure of the Champions League can be looked at, as long as the Leicester Cities of the world who win the Premier League go into that competition with every chance of winning that as well. As long as there's the ability that it's not a closed shop where there's not founder members, where there's not being run by the people with the big money, then I believe there is room for conversation. And what pleases me out of what come out of Tuesday when the teams start to fall away is that when those teams sit around a table now, it's a whole different conversation. At one time, they sat around the table as if to say, yes, you're in our company, but we're really the big boys. We'll tell you what's happening. Now I think it's taken a little bit away from them, and they have to come to the table, not cap in hand, but certainly on a more level basis, and have a discussion that's for the better of football as well as the better of these six clubs.